Infinity. This concept of something being unlimited, something that never ends, has confused people ever since it was discovered. With the invention of the symbol of infinity by John Wallis in 1657, mathematicians and physicists have been on a race to decipher this mysterious number. Nowadays, we know a lot more about infinity than we did in the past. But one last question still begs to be answered. Does infinity actually exist? Many people think that the universe is infinite because of its flat curvature. But it could also be finite but very big. We just have no way of knowing. However, as I discussed in the last video, the same causes that caused our universe to start existing could very well have happened already, infinitely many times, thus producing infinitely many universes. I called this the Omniverse. And if I am correct, that would mean that we have an answer to our question. Infinity does exist, because there are infinitely many universes. In this video, I encourage you to open up your imagination as we imagine what sort of universes can exist in the Omniverse, starting from the most probable, to the unlikely, to the impossible. And by the end of this video, you will begin to realize how incredibly large infinity really is. Part 1. The many worlds. We start with the most probable universes to ours, the ones in the many worlds partition. In these universes, the laws of physics created at the Big Bang remain the same, and there is order instead of chaos. Our universe is one of them. In fact, the difference between our universe and other many worlds universes is surprisingly small. Sometimes the difference is as small as you pausing this video in one universe and continuing to watch it in another. If you were to visit the universes in the many worlds, you would find millions of other yous living slightly different lifestyles. For example, you might be a millionaire in one universe, but be poor in another one. The creator of this theory of other universes is Everett. He composed the many worlds theory as a solution to the Schrodinger's cat paradox. In a nutshell, Schrodinger's cat is an experiment thought of by Erwin Schrödinger to demonstrate the weirdness of quantum superposition, which is where a particle can be in many places at once until viewed by an observer. In the experiment, he places a radioactive particle and a cat in a box. The particle has a 50-50 chance of decaying, and if it does, it will register on a Geiger counter and cause a vial of poison to be broken, killing the cat. The problem is, since the particle is in superposition, so is the cat, which means that the cat must be alive and dead at the same time. But that isn't possible. Luckily for physics, Everett has a solution. He argued that when you open the box and reveal either an alive cat or a dead cat, the timeline of our universe splits. And if the cat stays alive in our universe, it appears dead in another one. These kinds of splits are occurring billions of times every second, and are what produce all of the universes of the many worlds. Now it is time to move away from the many worlds partition and explore other universes that have different laws of physics, also known as the multiverse. Part 2. The multiverse. Up until now, we have explored universes that have the same laws of physics. But now it is time to move away from that. What if we had a universe where gravity was stronger, or one where the speed of light was different, or even ones with 10 forces of nature? These all exist in the multiverse. Most of these universes can't support life, so don't try visiting them, otherwise you will probably die. But how do we even know that all of these universes exist? The answer is the anthropic principle. The anthropic principle deals with why our universe is so fine-tuned for life. If any of the laws of physics were only a little bit different, life would cease to exist. The anthropic principle resolves this issue by saying that if our universe with its laws of physics exists, so must every other possible combination of the laws of physics. Therefore, as Gibbon Jordan says, the fact that we live in a world of blue skies and cherry sundaes might be because the extreme chaos of all other alternative universes also exist. That is the rather upsetting side effect of the anthropic principle. While it does explain why our universe is so fine-tuned for life, it also predicts dozens of more chaotic universes with no purpose or order that all exist in the multiverse. In the next part, we must work hard to open up our imagination as we now imagine all possible universes with different numbers of dimensions. Part 3. Many realms. At this point, the universes we are imagining are highly unlikely and very rare in comparison to ours. If they were pictured in the soap's model, their line would be curved and near the extremes of smooth and lumpy. These universes are that unlikely to exist because they have different numbers of spatial and time dimensions. Some of them may have 3 spatial dimensions like our universe, but have 5 dimensions of time. Others might have 2 spatial dimensions and 4 time dimensions. You get the point. These universes are very confusing and very hard to imagine. In some, planets and stars are all perfect cubes instead of spheres, like in Minecraft. In others, gravity creates particles and energy out of nothingness. Still others are completely illogical and have no similarities to our own universe. My head hurts just thinking about it. However, there is one last thing that all of these universes have in common. There is only one thing keeping them from all becoming absolute chaos. These universes all may have different laws of physics, but all of them actually follow their laws. And if you remove the laws of physics and create universes where impossible events can happen, all hell breaks loose. Part 4. Absolute Chaos. When most people are asked to think about other realities, usually they think about universes with aliens, or other universes in the many worlds partition. However, people usually stop short of thinking of imaginary realms, where things like magic exist. Fairy tales, we're all taught, are fiction and don't actually exist. Or do they? In this imagination gone wild, fourth scenario of the infinite, the impossible is possible, and random and inexplicable events occur regularly. Magic exists because these universes don't adhere to their laws of physics. To quote from Gavin Giorbrand, it may be that every storybook we read as kids, such as Hansel and Gretel, The 3 Bears, and even Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, is a true story. There really is a Santa Claus out there. Ideas, stories, and dreams may be what actually define reality. Our world may be a complicated dream among less rigid and fantastical dreams. However, don't celebrate just yet. There is a dark side to this way of imagining the Omniverse. As Gavin Giorbrand says, at first this artistic version of the infinite might feel entertaining and fun, but in fact it should produce a mild sense of fear. The unfortunate consequence is that crossing the border of allowing everything imaginary to be real doesn't stop with the fun cartoons. It includes the horrifyingly chaotic as well. It would ultimately mean that an absolute and uncontrolled chaos reigns supreme. What he means is that when you take away all order, you get infinite chaos. In this chaotic scenario, everything you can imagine, and everything that you can't, exists in a nightmarish collection of broken universes that I call the abstraction. It is the ultimate nightmare. Part 5. Appreciating the infinite. So far you have seen 4 examples of the types of universes you might find in the Omniverse. We started with the simple, easy universes that lie just outside ours, and then journeyed out towards more confusing and chaotical universes, ending with the abstraction, the absolute chaos. But we still have one question left. How many of these universes actually exist in the Omniverse, and how many are pure fantasy? The imagination can easily create other worlds in fantasy, but that doesn't mean that they actually exist. There may be a limit to the amount of universes that exist in the Omniverse, or there might not be a limit at all. It seems we have no way of knowing. The only thing we do know for sure is that our universe exists, as well as infinitely many more in the Omniverse. From the possible to the unlikely to the impossible, I think we can all agree that infinity is a really big place. And that is why we must try to appreciate the infinite Omniverse and the reality that is so much bigger than we first thought. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Just like last time, this video was made by Alexander Rafel and edited by Samuel Rafel. The concepts presented in this video were based from Chapter 3, The Comprehensibility of All, in Everything Forever, Learning to See Timelessness. As always, if you want more amazing and groundbreaking ideas about timelessness, please visit everythingforever.com or buy Gavin Giorbrand's book called Everything Forever. Thank you for your support, and be sure to subscribe and like this video. Bye!